Patrick Beverly is headed back to LA, but it's not for a reunion with the Clippers. What's up, everyone? It's your girl, Lady Sola, and before we get to the content, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting new videos every month, and I promise that you will want to pull up a chair and tune in. So, Pat Bev, who was traded to the Utah Jazz as part of the Rudy Gobert blockbuster trade, has now been traded to the Los Angeles Lakers in exchange for Talen Horton-Tucker and Stanley Johnson. Wow. Wow, that is my first reaction. This man really be manifesting stuff. Like, so who's Patrick Beverly? He is a 34-year-old point guard who is actually a Chicago native. I did not know that. And he has made quite a name for himself in the NBA. He has a very interesting story. He played overseas for many years before really being able to get an opportunity to end up on an NBA team. What is he known for? He's known for his defensive abilities. He's not much of an offensive player. He's a decent point guard in the sense that he does all the basic things efficient enough. He can pass, he can cut, he can bring the ball down the floor. You know, he even got a little bit of a jump shot in him. You know, he can hit a three-pointer here and there. He's not a three-point assassin, but when needed, he has hit several clutch three-point shots that I have seen, and I was actually like, wow, this guy really can hit a three. He is known for his defensive abilities or antics. It depends on how you look at it. His specialty is distracting and irritating some of the best players in the league. I mean, this guy is pure entertainment. I know a lot of people can't stand him. I love him. I mean, because he is just so entertaining. Like, if you watch any game where he is playing, you will be entertained. Like, even if you don't watch basketball like that, you don't really know what's going on, I promise you will be laughing at the little things that he is doing, because he's always doing some mess. He's just a ish starter. He's always doing something, whether it's like trying to talk to the refs, whether he's talking smack to somebody, clapping in their face, like smacking their butt, like getting tangled up with somebody and being really like exaggerated about it, flopping as he's trying to get a foul call, saying some mess to somebody that's on the free throw line. Like, just the way that he defends, he can be very extra about it. And you know, like, he's just trying to get a reaction out of a player. He's trying to get under their skin. He's trying to throw them off. He's trying to raise their temper. He's like a psychological type of defensive player. He's not just playing the game the way it's supposed to be played. He's doing a lot of in between the line things that you can't really put on paper. You can't really call a foul for, because it's so unique and it's so just random that it's just like, I don't even know what to call this. You know what I mean? That's why players hate him. Like, he will irritate you from wherever he is at, and he is damn good at it. But he is so funny to watch. So that's why I like him. I mean, he be cracking me up. He was on the Rockets for several years, and then he got traded to the Clippers, and he played with the Clippers for 4 seasons. And that's when I really got to take notice of who he was. Because the way he just acted on the Clippers, he really was the pit bull. Like, he will fight anybody. He will ride for his teammates. You just knew, like, he was, like, gangbanging on the basketball team or something. Like, he's little. He's not really a big guy. But his mouth and his energy, even from the sidelines, he can irritate you. After last season ended, where he played 1 season with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he actually was an integral part of getting them to the playoffs. He said it from the beginning of the season, I'm going to take this team to the playoffs. We're going to the playoffs. That's the goal. And people kind of laughed at it and was just like, okay, right. And they did. They did make it to the playoffs, and they really had a chance to knock out the Memphis Grizzlies, but they just too wet behind the ears. They're not ready for prime time. They aren't really ready to take that next step. They got to the door, but they couldn't open it, And Pat Bev, he did what he could. He got them to the playoffs. So shout out to Pat Bev for making the Timberwolves better, but he did get traded this offseason. And then all of a sudden, he went on a little media circuit where he was like on every ESPN show. Just all of a sudden, Pat Bev is now an analyst. I'm like, oh, okay. I see what you're doing here. You're trying to set up your post-career because you just never know how long this NBA thing will last for some people. And he probably is thinking about it like, I'm going to always talk myself up and try to get me another contract. But in the event that people just don't want to hear from me or don't want to give me a chance, I know where I'm going next. I'm cool with Stephen A. Smith. I do got quite a mouth, and I use it, and I talk a lot. Let me go over here. And he definitely went viral several times on some of the things he was saying. But something he did talk about a couple times was just his desire to play with LeBron. He looks up to LeBron. He respects him. He would love to play with him. I thought that was quite interesting. All right.
Would you want to play with LeBron on these Lakers?
If I was a free agent?
Yes.
Yes. I wouldn't even hesitate. Just to be able to play with a great like that, be able to pick his brain.
You really want to play with Bron. Okay, so y'all cool. Like, y'all are friends. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes when you see him on the court playing against the Lakers, but it does make sense because LeBron never, gets into it with him like that. When he was playing on the Clippers, though, and he, blocked that shot LeBron tried to make from the three-point line, that was one of Pat Bev's many highlights, was blocking LeBron from the three-point line, and then the ball went out of bounds, and it was a turnover. And it was at a pretty crucial point in the game. I think it was towards the end of the game. The Lakers were trying to, take the lead or whatever, or tie it or something. So that was a pretty big deal. So I didn't know how LeBron felt about him. I didn't think they were cool, but apparently, off the court, he has great things to say about LeBron and how, he's looked out for him. He's given him advice throughout the years and all that. I'm like, oh, okay. So he's saying all these nice things about LeBron. He's even talking about, how the Lakers should use Russell Westbrook and how they didn't utilize him properly, and that if he was on the team, he would recommend this, and that. I'm like, wow, if you were on the team, you really try to get over there. That's what it sounds like. Pat Bev is aware of his surroundings, aware of his role and his trajectory, and he doesn't try to overinflate his ego to make himself believe he's something that he's not. And that is actually a very very valuable characteristic to have, especially as a man, to where you can assess that I'm not a LeBron, I'm not Steph, I'm not I'm not even Chris Paul. You know what I mean? I haven't accomplished a lot individually, but I am great on all the teams I've been on. I am the one that pushes a team forward. I can be the glue. I can be that spark, and that matters. It really does. Now he's on the Lakers. Look at that. Manifestation at its finest. This is interesting that the Lakers made this trade because, to me, it signals that Russell Westbrook is going to get moved. I just don't see this being a move that they made having every intention to keep both Russ and Pat Bev on the same team. This is impossible to me. Why? Because Pat Bev and Russ have a very rocky, tense history. Going all the way back to when Pat Bev was on the Rockets and he somehow injured Russ' knee. Somehow his elbow or hand or something came in contact with his knee bone or his kneecap, and he had to get surgery, and his knee has never been the same, and it all started because of that move Pat Bev did. So the way Russ is. He has hated that man since that moment. And they've constantly gone back and forth, taking jabs at each other in the media. The next major thing was Russ saying, Pat Bev, y'all think Pat Bev is a good defender? Man, please. Pat Bev is tricking y'all. All Pat Bev does is run around and doing a bunch of nothing. is basically what he said. And that was a major clip that went viral and was a topic of conversation. And even Pat Bev responded to it this past summer, like on the podcast with JJ Redick, where he was like, man, that really like hurt my career, brought my value down, because they believed what Russ was saying I basically don't defend. Like, I really just don't do nothing like that. It's all an illusion. So by the Lakers making this move, it's like they're basically saying, Russ, like, we don't give a damn about you. It's clear. You know what it is. We're trying to move you. Like, this partnership is over. Like, we had the worst season ever because of you. Like, we want you gone. And yes, we got Pat Bev. So now you really know what time it is. Like, that's what that's telling me. Because how do you expect Russ to, like, put whatever ego he has to the side? He's already been through so much last season, basically being the scapegoat for the Lakers, which I think a lot of that is warranted. I'm predicting they are going to move Russ. Maybe to the Pacers, maybe to the Jazz. Maybe the Jazz like, hey, we did one deal, let's do another one. Hey, this is working. You know, we got 2 picks for you. We will give in. We know you wanted the 2 picks. Give us Bogdanovich. Give us Donovan Mitchell. Let's do it. Or give us Jordan Clarkson. Give us Jordan Clarkson and Donovan Mitchell. Jordan Clarkson and somebody else. Or give us Donovan Mitchell and Bogdanovich. Like, there's options. So it's just time for them to make a move happen, because there's no way that Russ and Pat Bev are going to coexist. There is absolutely no way. So those are my thoughts. I'm going to leave it there. So tell me what y'all think. Do you think that this means that Russ will get traded finally? Do you think that Pat Bev will be a help to the Lakers? How do you think he can impact the Lakers? Just everything, winning, their record, you know, the way they move the ball, their system. Can they make the playoffs now? Will Pat Bev be instrumental in helping them with that? Will their defense be better? What do you think Pat Bev actually brings to the table? Are we going to see Pat Bev and Russ wrestling on the sidelines if they can't move Russ before the season starts? Is there going to be, like, you know, some wrestling, some UFC fights happening on the sideline? I'm here for the entertainment, okay? But let me know what y'all think. This is Lady Sola, and always remember that it is not about how you start, but how you finish. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch y'all on the next one.